Hi, I'm Connor, and I'm one of the design engineers here at Suncast. In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace parts in your hose reel in case it should break. Now, these hose reels are made of plastic, and what's great about plastic is that they can snap together without hardware, but they can be hard to take apart, if not impossible. Fortunately, we have some techniques on how to get these things apart so you can get your hose reel back up and running and out in the yard where it belongs. So I'm going to show you how to replace the cross brace, the flanges, the out tube, the in tube, and the crank. Now don't worry if your hose reel doesn't look like one of these, because the techniques to take them apart is universal across Suncast hose reels. For the first technique, you're going to want a big flathead screwdriver, a long skinny flathead screwdriver, 2 clamps, and a rubber mallet. First thing you need to do is grab your flathead screwdriver and you're going to put it into this little slot. Notice the orientation is important. So on my right, it's pushing away from me, and I'm going to crank down and push it back. Okay? So I made a little gap right there. I'm going to do the same thing, but I have to come the opposite direction. So I'm going to come here and push it up. Just like that. Then on this side, I'm going to take my rubber mallet, and I'm just going to bang it. Now some hose reels are harder to get apart than the other ones. So in this case, this hose reel is pretty tough. So we're going to introduce 2 paint scrapers, and we're going to stick them in between the flange and the cross brace. And there are a couple tabs in there. We can't see them, but we're going to compress them so we can get this out. So I'll take my paint scraper like so, my rubber mallet. I'm just going to work it in there a tiny bit. Now I can check on the side, and it's hard to see from your angle, but you can see the edge of the paint scraper. And that's to make sure you can see that you're compressing that tab. I'll come over to the other side, and I'll do the same thing. Push this in, grab my rubber mallet, okay, I'll take my screwdriver, as I did before, come through, okay, take this off, and let's try it on this side. Same thing. I'm going to look and see that it's pressed against the tab. Flip it around. Let's put the other one in here. A little like that. Use my handy screwdriver. Push through. Again, the orientation is going to be on my right as I'm pushing away and then prying it forward. Now, if you have this gap and you're still having trouble getting it apart, you can use a thin screwdriver just to assist you. And this will come all the way through, as you see. And I can use this to try to pry it apart. There we go. And again, to get the second part off, first I'll remove the paint scrapers. And then good smash. And that's it. So now I'll show you how to put it back together. Now, it's going to squeeze together like so. And there's a little slot right here. And that's going to go over the out tube. So, I'll set 1/2 down. I'm going to come underneath, right around the out tube. I'm going to line up this other flange accordingly. I'll take my other half of the cross brace, stick it on top, and I'm going to give it a good squeeze. I won't be able to lock it in place by hand, but at least enough that it will hold itself together. You want to get rid of this gap, and you want to hear a snap. Now there are 4 tabs that we want to lock. So what I'm going to do is introduce my clamp right here, and I'm going to come over the top and I'm going to squeeze. And I hear that snap. That's what I want to hear. Come on this side, same thing. Squeeze, snap. Rotate it, and do it on the other side. We still have that gap right there. Okay. Snap. One more. And now your hose reel is all set and ready to go. So to get your in tube and out tube off, grab your thin screwdriver and we're going to pry open this little yellow clip. This is what locks everything together. Now you want to hold on to the right flange, otherwise it's going to fall down. Okay, go ahead and push this to the side. I'm just going to pull this out. If your little clip comes undone, that's okay. Pull this out. And then from here, this comes apart like so. So now I'll show you how to get the out tube and the in tube back in place. Take your out tube and stick it in the inside of the flange, like so. There are a couple grooves, so it'll fit nice and snug. Take this, push it through. Okay, keep holding it. Now with the in tube, take it and push it over. Notice the yellow clip is still out. Okay, I'm going to line this up. There's a couple slots. Then I'm going to push the left clip back in place. And I can test this. I can try to pull it out, and it should be locked in place. Now on the other side, I'll show you how to remove the crank. What I'll do is I'll take my skinny screwdriver again, and I'm going to try to pry this open. There are 4 snap hooks on the inside, and they're quite difficult to get apart, so I really have to kind of push and be careful not to damage the screwdriver as much as I can. So go ahead. And this part's not easy, I'm not going to lie to you. Go ahead. There we go. Pull it apart. Putting it back together is a lot simpler. Take your flange, put it back in. Now there are 4 different slots, so you want to make sure that the slots line up with the snap hooks. And we'll just go ahead, snap it back together, make sure it's in there tight, and we're good to go. So now I'll demonstrate the same technique, but with the cross braces still in there. Take my screwdriver, put it between the hose reel and the crank, pry it open, and rip it out. To put it back in, do the exact opposite. Find those grooves, and that's it.